With most of the province moving into Stage 2 of the reactivation of the economy, the Government of Ontario has released a set of guidelines that will help employers understand how employees can return to the workplace safely. Pathways Training and eLearning has created this free video that can be used for training purposes to ensure employers know their obligations and what needs to be done to ensure their workplace is safe. Remember that as an employer, you are responsible to take every precaution reasonable in order to protect a worker under the Occupational Health and Safety Act. To minimize the risk of spreading the disease in the workplace, you should screen workers, support people with symptoms to self-isolate, ensure people maintain a physical distance of 2 meters or more, disinfect surfaces and objects, support hand hygiene, particularly hand washing, remind workers about good cough and sneeze etiquette and to avoid touching their face, and work with local public health units if any workers have COVID-19 or are exposed to someone with COVID-19. When you create your COVID-19 safety plan, you can do so by using this template provided by the Government of Ontario. Because this plan is for you and your employees, you should discuss it and share it with them, preferably before the workers return to the workplace. Note, you are not required to send your plan to the Ministry of Labour, Training and Skill Development for review or comment. Let's take a closer look at the development of a COVID-19 safety plan. As you know, COVID-19 can be spread mainly in two ways: person to person, when they are in close contact, and surface to person, then people touch their face with unwashed hands. And this risk of spreading is increased when you work indoors, as opposed to working outdoors, and spend more time in proximity of other people, such as coworkers, customers, or potentially infected people. To control this risk in the workplace, you can adhere to the following hierarchy of controls and choose the level that adjusts to your industry. This hierarchy that applies to all hazards in the workplace consists of 5 different levels. These are: first, elimination. This is considered to be the most effective level of control, and it relates to completely removing the risk of exposure to the hazard. In the case of the novel coronavirus, remote work would eliminate the risk of spreading the disease in the workplace, since employees wouldn't be in close contact with anyone other than their social circle. For example, if you work in the healthcare sector, you could opt to practice telemedicine. Keep in mind that it might not always be possible to use the method of elimination. Second, substitution. This relates to replacing the hazardous substance with something less hazardous. However, in the case of COVID-19, substitution is not an option. Third, engineering controls. This involves physical changes to the workplace in order to separate the workers from the hazard and minimize the risk. For COVID-19, you might have to make changes to support physical distancing and hygiene. For example, for the retail sector, you can install plexiglass to separate the cashiers from the customers, or mark the floors to space the customers. Fourth, administrative controls. This relates to using policies, procedures, training, and signage to adjust the way your workers interact with each other. For example, in the food manufacturing sector, employees could limit the number of workers by staggering work schedules, and they could provide training on proper hand washing technique. Fifth, personal protective equipment, or PPE. This is considered the least effective level of control, and it involves the employers asking their employee to wear equipment such as surgical or procedural masks and eye protection. Please note that the use of PPE does not reduce the need for physical distancing. When choosing what level works for you, always start by considering the elimination level and work your way down the list if necessary. PPE should only be used after all other controls have been considered and all feasible options implemented. If you think you need help to manage this change for you and your employees, contact us at info@pathwaysinc.ca, and we wish you all the best for safety and good health.